You want to know why you're stuck? Why you keep spinning your wheels while the 1% keep winning? It's not money. It's not luck. It's not even talent. It's thinking. It's how they see the world. It's how they see themselves. It's how they interpret problems, pressure, and pain. The 1% don't live by emotion. They live by strategy. They don't wait for motivation. They move by conviction. And most importantly, they don't think like you, and that's why they win while you stay where you are. You think problems mean stop. They think problems mean sharp. You want it to be easy. They want it to be earned. You see failure as a sign to quit. They see it as a message. Good. You're in the fight now. You crave comfort. They crave pressure. You want freedom, but they know freedom has a price, and they're willing to pay it every single day. The 1% have trained their minds to dominate, not react, to lead, not follow. And if you keep thinking like the 99%, you'll keep getting 99% results, average, stuck, resentful, tired, always starting over. Most people think the game is about skill or opportunity, but the real game is mental. It's internal. It's invisible. It's what happens in the silence, in the dark, when no one's clapping, when nothing's working, when you're scared, and you still execute. The 1% don't need a crowd to be consistent. They don't need applause to stay focused. They are not powered by the outside world. They're self-charged. They've trained their identity to match their goals. Meanwhile, most people want big goals with small minds. Big wins with weak habits, big change with no cost. That mindset is the loss. You want success? Change your thinking. Because until you think differently, nothing around you will move. You'll chase and fail. Start and quit. Get inspired, then forget. You'll live on motivation, not execution. And the 1% are watching, not because they're better, but because they chose better thought. They chose to see discomfort as the path, not the enemy. They chose to embrace solitude, not fear it. They chose to make peace with pressure, not escape from it. They became dangerous, not by birth, but by mindset. You know what separates them? One brutal truth. They've accepted responsibility for everything. No blame, no pointing fingers, no victim stories, just ownership. Full, radical ownership. If it's broken, they fix it. If it's hard, they lean into it. If it's on the line, they show up. That level of ownership is rare, but it's the only way to win long term. Because when you own everything, you can change anything. But most people would rather protect their pride than build their power. They'd rather be right than be great. And that's the fork in the road. The 1% do what's necessary, not what's comfortable. They don't care if they feel like it. They don't care if they're tired. They don't need someone to clap for them or check on them. They move regardless. That's what makes them deadly. That's what makes them rise, because their life is built on principles, not feelings. Discipline, not moods. And that's why they keep winning, even on bad days, even when they're bleeding, even when no one believes in them. They've trained for the silence. They've mastered the dark. They don't need light to move. They are the light. And here's what most people miss. The 1% aren't lucky. They're lonely. They've lost friends. They've outgrown circles. They've been misunderstood, mocked, doubted. People think they've changed, and they have, because the cost of growth is identity death. You can't become elite and stay the same. And most people aren't willing to lose their old self to meet the new one. But the 1% are. They've buried comfort. They've sacrificed ego. They've stopped chasing praise and started chasing power. The power that comes from knowing you built this, you earned this, and no one can take it from you. So if you're tired of losing, if you're tired of watching others pass you, if you're tired of feeling stuck while the winners keep pulling away, then stop thinking like the 99%. Stop thinking in feelings. Stop thinking in excuses. Stop thinking in limits. Your mind is your kingdom. And if you don't rule it, someone else will. Rewire your thoughts. Rewire your discipline. Rewire your identity. Because the 1% aren't outworking you by chance. They're outthinking you by choice. Every day. And the moment you decide to take control of your mind is the moment your whole life starts to shift. And here's the part that stings, but you need to hear it. The 1% aren't coming to save you. They're not coming to teach you. They're not going to slow down so you can catch up. This world doesn't stop for indecision. It doesn't reward potential. It rewards execution. Ruthless execution. While you're overthinking, they're taking action. While you're doubting, they're building. While you're hoping life changes, they're changing themselves day by day, hour by hour. And it's not magic. It's not genius. It's not privilege. It's mindset plus movement, repeated without fail. You think they're fearless. No, they're just trained. Trained to act in fear. Trained to move through chaos. Trained to lean into the edge. And that's why they rise, because they don't run from the hard, they run into it. They hunt challenge. They crave resistance. They know every setback is sharpening their edge. And while the 99% pray for an easy life, the 1% are becoming stronger than whatever life throws at them. That's why they don't break. That's why they don't bend. That's why they keep winning. Most people lose because they want the reward without the rewiring. They want high-level results on low-level habits. They want elite outcomes with average identity. And it will never happen because your life is a mirror. It reflects who you are when no one's watching. You want to win like the 1%? Then think like them in the dark, in the silence, in the unglamorous hours. That's where the gap is created. That's where winners are made. When nobody sees, when nothing's working, when everything in you wants to quit and you don't. That's the secret. That's the shift. It's not a course. It's not a hack. It's a standard. And the 1% don't lower theirs. They don't adapt to their mood. They adapt their mood to their mission. They don't take breaks from discipline. Discipline is the identity. And that's why most people will never feel that level of freedom, because they're too addicted to emotion, too comfortable with softness, too attached to their old self. But if you want to rise, you have to kill comfort before it kills your future. You want to win like the 1%? Then stop reacting to life like the 99%. Get up when it's inconvenient. Show up when you're overlooked. Grind when it's thankless. Stay focused when it's lonely. Keep your vision clear when doubt screams in your ear. Be the kind of person who does it anyway, because that's what they do. Not when they feel like it. Not when the timing is right. Every single day. And it's not because they're superhuman, it's because they decided. They decided to stop negotiating with mediocrity. They decided to raise their baseline. They decided that their life would not be ruled by moods, opinions, or comfort zones. They decided that average would never satisfy them again. And that decision, that's what you're up against. Not their money, not their network, their mindset, their discipline, their non-negotiable standard. So what are you going to do with this moment? You can scroll past it like the 99%, or you can burn it into your identity. You can let it be noise, or you can let it become your edge. But just know this, every moment you delay, every excuse you entertain, every limit you protect, is another win for the version of you that stays losing. And that version doesn't deserve another day. Kill the old mindset. Build the new one, or stay stuck watching the 1% pull further and further away, because if you're not willing to outthink, outwork, and outlast the old you, you'll never even make it close. Would you like me to add the comment call to action, just like we did in the last one, to spark engagement and reflection from your viewers? Good, because if you've made it this far, I know you're not average. I know something in you is tired of losing, tired of waking up knowing you're capable of more but seeing nothing change, tired of watching the same people win while you stay buried under your own potential. But this, right now, is your chance to decide if that ends here. So let's make this personal. I don't want you to just watch this video. I want you to take this personally, because until it becomes personal, it won't become permanent. You have to feel the loss of playing small. You have to feel the cost of every excuse you've told yourself, because there is no success without sacrifice, and the first thing that needs to die is the old you. Now scroll down, right now. Go to the comments and write, "My mindset changes now, not tomorrow, not next week, now." And if you're really serious, write out the exact lie that's kept you losing. Maybe it's, "I need to feel ready. I'm not good enough. I don't have what they have. I'll start when I have more time." Call it out, name it, destroy it, put it in that comment and bury it. Because when you expose the lie, you take away its power. When you write the truth, you take your power back. And if you're reading this right now thinking about commenting but hesitating, that's the 99% mindset trying to keep you passive, comfortable, silent. Don't let it win. Not again. Not this time. Because the moment you declare your new standard, your mind starts catching up. Your energy starts aligning. And that small action, that comment, might be the first domino in a chain reaction that flips your whole life upside down. So don't watch this and stay the same. Don't listen to all this fire and then walk away lukewarm. Leave your old thinking in that comment section. Walk into your new season with clarity, with fire, with identity. Because when your mindset rises, everything else has to follow. The 1% didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait to be understood. They didn't wait until life made it easy. They decided. And now it's your turn. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. No one is coming to save you from the life you've settled into. No mentor, no video, no moment of motivation is going to do the work for you. The 1% already know this. That's why they operate on a different frequency. They don't need to be rescued. They became their own rescue. While others wait for the right moment, the 1% build the moment. They create pressure. They put themselves in the fire because the fire forges them. You think they were born confident? No. They earned that confidence. Through self-doubt, through fear, through failure, through nights no one clapped for them. They earned it when they showed up tired, showed up scared, showed up under pressure, and still delivered. You're not watching someone who was blessed. You're watching someone who refused to stay broken. Someone who decided their potential would no longer be treated like a theory. Someone who stopped reading about the mountain and started climbing it. And that's the final shift, the one the 99% avoid at all costs: responsibility. Total, brutal, complete responsibility. No one to blame. No excuses left. Just you. And once you taste that level of ownership, you never go back. You stop complaining. You stop comparing. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start becoming the condition that creates results. This is your line in the sand. Either you rise or you repeat. Either you rewire your mind or you keep losing battles before they even begin. Either you build a life that matches your potential or you keep making peace with mediocrity. There is no in between. There is no neutral. Every day you think like the 99%, you stay part of the... But the second you begin thinking like the 1%, the world stops ignoring you. Opportunities start aligning. People start responding. Not because of luck, but because you finally become someone worth noticing. And you'll know it's real when you start showing up different. When you walk in silence, but your presence speaks. When you stop explaining yourself. When you stop shrinking. When you stop needing proof, because your energy is the proof, because your discipline is the evidence, because your life becomes so aligned that no one has to ask what changed. They'll feel it before you say a word. This is what the 1% know. This is what they live. This is why they win. And now, so will you. And when you do rise, because I know you will, something strange starts to happen. The same people who ignored your struggle will suddenly admire your strength. The same ones who doubted your vision will now ask how you did it. But you won't feel proud in a loud, arrogant way. You'll feel quietly powerful. Because deep down, you'll know you did what most people are too afraid to even begin. You'll know that you killed the old mindset that made excuses. You buried the identity that needed comfort. You silenced the voice that said, stay in line, be realistic. Don't dream too big. You'll know that your success wasn't built in the spotlight. It was built when no one was watching. Early mornings, cold nights, silent battles. You built this from nothing but vision, pain, and discipline. That's what separates you now. You didn't ask for a guarantee. You became one. You didn't need hype. You had self-respect. You didn't wait for a breakthrough. You created one every single day with your effort, your clarity, and your refusal to die a copy of who you used to be. And let me tell you, once you get a taste of that version of yourself, the one that doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, doesn't lower their standards, you'll never go back. You'll never settle for average conversation, average habits, average identity. You'll lose your taste for anything that doesn't demand your full presence. You'll stop chasing distraction and start moving with purpose. You won't need loud motivation anymore because you are the standard now. That's when you know you've crossed over. When you don't need to prove anything, but your results speak so loud they can't be ignored. When your mindset becomes so focused, so disciplined, so intentional that chaos doesn't shake you anymore. You don't beg for peace, you bring it. You don't ask for a seat, you build the table. You don't wait to be chosen, you choose yourself. And when the noise gets loud again, when the world tries to pull you back into comfort, into distractions, into the old you, you won't budge. Because you've seen the difference. You've felt the shift. You've become someone the 99% don't even recognize anymore. Because you chose to live where most people choose to sleep. So don't just rise once. Rise every day. Rise through failure. Rise through silence. Rise when it's hard. Rise when no one believes. Rise when your old self tries to come back. Rise so consistently, so powerfully that quitting never finds a way back into your vocabulary. This is your moment, right here, right now. You know the truth. You know what's possible. You know the difference. The 1% don't think like you, and now, neither do you. And when you begin walking like someone who thinks differently, you'll notice something else. The world doesn't know what to do with you anymore. People will sense the shift, but they won't understand it. You won't laugh at the same jokes. You won't find joy in shallow things. You won't waste time defending your vision to people committed to misunderstanding it. You'll stop showing up to spaces that drain your energy, conversations that go in circles, and relationships that keep you tied to your old identity. That's when it becomes real. When elevation starts costing you your old life. Because thinking like the 1% doesn't just change how you operate, it changes what you allow, what you tolerate, what you say yes to. Your standards rise silently. You stop trying to fix everything around you and start fixing your focus. You realize your time is the most expensive currency you have, and you don't spend it cheap anymore. You move with intent. You speak with weight. You no longer chase being impressive. You chase being authentic, aligned, and untouchable by external chaos. You'll lose things, but you won't care. You'll outgrow habits, people, opinions, and even past versions of yourself. But in return, you'll gain clarity, peace, self-respect, mental freedom. The kind of freedom that doesn't come from money but from mastering your mind. That's what the 1% really have. Not just wealth, weight, substance, control. They walk like kings and queens, not because they were crowned, but because they earned it in the dark, through fire, through decisions nobody else had the courage to make. This mindset isn't just about achievement. It's about identity recreation. It's about burning the idea that success is for special people and realizing it's for the prepared, for the disciplined, for the mentally unshakable. And you don't become that by reading about it. You become it by living through it, day after hour, action after action, until your old mind dies and something powerful, permanent, and unstoppable rises in its place. And that's what you are now. Not inspired, transformed, not just interested, committed, not just chasing the 1%, but becoming it. So now, take a breath and ask yourself, what would the 1% version of me do next? Not the emotional version, not the lazy version, not the one that gives up halfway, the focused one, the relentless one, the real one. Now act from there. That's how it begins. That's how it changes. That's how you win. For real this time. Most people stay stuck because they never outgrow the way they think. But you just did. Now act like it. And once you outgrow the way you used to think, the world starts to open in ways it never did before. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Your perception sharpens. Your tolerance for distraction dies. You begin to move like someone with nothing to prove and everything to execute. You stop wasting time on people who don't get it, because now you get it. You understand that energy is a resource, and the 1% don't spend it explaining themselves, they spend it evolving themselves. You start to notice opportunities that were always there, but your old mindset was too blind to see them. You walk into rooms differently, not louder, but heavier, with presence, with intent, with clarity, because your thoughts are no longer scattered. They're disciplined. Every action now has weight behind it. Every decision is a vote for who you're becoming, not who you've been, and that identity, it starts to solidify, quietly, consistently, powerful. You don't need to talk about your goals anymore. You embody them. You don't need to be loud to be respected. You don't need validation to feel valuable, because now your mindset isn't a wish, it's a weapon. You've trained it, tempered it, molded it in pressure and isolation and honest self-reflection. You've killed off the part of you that waited, that watched, that hesitated. And what's left is dangerous, not to others, but to everything trying to keep you average. You stop seeing pain as the enemy. You stop fearing resistance. You start welcoming it because now you know pressure is proof you're growing. It's the sign that you're not playing on the beginner level anymore. It's not chaos, it's refinement. And instead of running from it, you run through it. Because the 1% don't run from fire, they build in it. That's why they win. That's why they last. And the best part, there's no going back. Once your mind expands like this, once you've felt the shift, mediocrity doesn't feel safe anymore. It feels suffocating. You can't unsee your potential. You can't unread the truth. You can't unknow what you're now capable of. And that awareness becomes your new baseline, your new standard, your new identity. And when that becomes your new baseline, something sacred happens. You stop negotiating with yourself. No more bargaining with your potential. No more just this once compromises. No more allowing temporary emotions to derail permanent purpose. You move with self-command. You wake up and operate like someone who owes it to the future version of yourself to show up at a higher level. Not just for the external wins, but because showing up with power, with discipline, with intent feels like home now. And you'll start to feel the distance grow between who you used to be and who you are now. It's not arrogance, it's essential. It's the slow, painful separation from the identity that was built in survival, in delay, in self-doubt. That version of you had to die. And they did. And now you rise, quietly, unapologetically, without the need to announce anything. Because the real 1% mindset isn't about noise, it's about movement, precision, presence, power that doesn't shout because it doesn't have to. And it's in the smallest moments that you'll know you've changed. When you choose discipline over dopamine, silence over distraction, focus over validation. When you pass up comfort without flinching. When your habits are sharper than your excuses. When you stop chasing outcomes and start chasing alignment. That's when you know it's real. That's when you know the 1% isn't just a concept. It's who you are now. Not because you got lucky, not because life made it easier, but because you refused to keep thinking like the rest. Because you finally understood. Success isn't something you find, it's something you become. And you became it. And when you become it, truly become it, you realize the world doesn't hand you anything. It reflects who you are. Life is a mirror, not a menu. You don't get to pick your outcome. You get to earn it through who you are when no one's watching, when it's boring, when it's painful, when it's inconvenient. That's the test. And the 1% don't wait to feel inspired to pass it. They move without applause. They build without feedback. They grind through the days that feel heavy and thankless because they've trained their identity to move regardless. You'll begin to see how much of the 99% live in reaction mode. They react to problems, react to failure, react to fear, react to the world. And the 1%, they respond strategically, intentionally, powerfully, because they've already done the thinking before the chaos hit. They've already built the mindset before the storm. That's the advantage. That's why they never look rattled. Not because life is easier for them, but because their mind is harder to break. And that's what you're becoming. A mind that doesn't flinch. A presence that doesn't apologize. A life that doesn't fold under pressure. You become a system of discipline and purpose. So sharp, so focused, that you no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You've already proven it to yourself. And that's when the real freedom hits. The freedom from opinion, from doubt, from your old story. The world still talks, it still criticizes, but none of it touches you because you no longer live for noise, you live for truth. Your fire, and what's wild is once you truly lock in, people will start calling you lucky. They won't see the rewiring, the inner war, the discipline forged in silence. They'll see the results and assume ease, but let them. You don't need to explain. Your life is the proof now. Your consistency is the loudest answer. Your mindset is the most dangerous thing in the room. Not because it's aggressive, but because it's undeniable. You've separated yourself, quietly, slowly, relentlessly. You didn't wait. You didn't beg. You didn't break. You became.